The Plumbing Marketing Profits Podcast. Interviews with $1 million plus plumbing and HVAC business owners on how they market and grow their companies in today's economy. Hear directly from the most successful leaders in your business and discover what they are doing to keep their phone ringing, trucks running, and businesses booming. With your host, Josh Nelson.
Well, hello, and thanks for joining me on this episode of the Plumbing and HVAC Marketing Profits Podcast. Today, I'm super excited to be interviewing Jeff Heger from NixCo Plumbing. Runs an amazing operation. I've had the opportunity to go there and visit him in person and know what a great operation he runs. So, Jeff, thanks so much for joining me on this episode of the podcast.
Thanks, and thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So, I guess before we dive too deep into the marketing stuff, just tell us a little bit about you, kind of your background, and kind of before we start with that, though, like, tell us about NixCo Plumbing, approximate size, how many trucks, how much revenue, some of the demographic stuff.
Okay, well, NixCo Plumbing's been around since 1978, so this is actually our 40th anniversary or 40th birthday, whatever you want to say.
Wow.
Our average revenue is between $5.5 and $6 million, and we've been pretty well consistent with that throughout the last 10 to 15 years.
Okay.
We're running 6 service trucks. Well, we have 6 service trucks, trying to get a 6th tech in one. And we also run new construction. We're running 8 construction crews. We have about 30 employees here.
Okay.
We do on our service side, we do all commercial, residential, and industrial service, drain cleaning, sewer and water line repair and replacement. And as far as construction goes, or new construction, we do residential and commercial, site utilities, and remodels. So we run the whole gamut of what we work on. We cover, we're like your one-stop shop, let's say. We serve what is considered basically the greater Cincinnati area, but we focus a lot as far as our service portion goes within 15 miles of the shop here in Mason.
In Mason, Ohio.
Yeah.
Awesome. So, I mean, a nice, well-established operation. I think you said 30 employees, almost $6 million a year in revenue. I think you mentioned a majority of that's coming from commercial, and over the last several years you've been looking to build the residential side, right?
As far as the new construction goes, most of that is probably considered commercial. We have 1 or 2 major residential clients that we do both the inside work and the outside work, so that helps us make it a profitable avenue for us to go.
Okay.
And then as far as, I mean, it's like 40% of our business, or 40 to 45% of our business is service, and I'm trying to continue to get that to grow to be where it's at least 50% of the business that we do.
Okay. You know, one of the things I hear often when the conversation of residential versus commercial comes up is the profitability and the cash flow is so much better in residential. I guess, what are you doing in order to make that work for you? I know you kind of alluded to it a little bit. I'm just curious if you could, extrapolate on that a little bit.
As far as the residential commercial service part of it, residential service is on demand, and it's also 100% paid for at the time of service.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then the commercial side, we bill our customers, and we try to keep that down to either the net 15, net 30, but of course you've got those that run out longer.
Yeah.
So with the once you know what your true cost of doing business is, and you're pricing yourself accordingly, having both of those running at the same time, you're able to, one, keep your guys busy. You're able to price out at the same level. We use the same price book on both residential as we do on commercial. So whatever we're doing in either, we're not T&M.
You're not sacrificing your margins in order to get that commercial business then.
Yeah, we're using the same margin. We're not changing our margins or our pricing at all.
Oh, nice.
We're doing the same on both.
Okay.
So, and I understand that's different for some companies, but that's just the way we've been able to do it, and we continue to do it. We might have a little pushback here or there, but very rarely is there any pushback on that. And then with the new construction work running, we price ourselves so that, if we don't get it at the price we want, then we just move on to the next. So,
yeah, if it's not going to be profitable, just you'd rather pass on the job than to just take the project at a loss or even break even.
Yeah, correct. Yes, and it's hard to stick to at times, but that's what we've done, and it's been successful. And we've been doing, like, our service portion of the business is only really started growing about 10 to 11 years ago.
Okay.
The new construction, of course, we've had forever. We've had a service guy, but, you know, it was a guy to take care of all of our existing customers and the work that we had done in the past. And then we made a conscious decision back in 2006, 7, 8, we got to grow that side of our business.
Awesome. So you have had some noticeable momentum. If it was 0% and now it's almost like 45% of the revenue, you've built that up pretty well.
Yes. Yeah.
Awesome.
And what you got to do.
Yeah. No doubt. So, how did you get started, Jeff, in the business? Have you been with it since the beginning, or kind of what was your foray point into the company?
Well, back when I was in 4th or 5th grade, my dad, he was a mechanic or machine builder, whatever you want to call it, for P&G, Procter & Gamble here in Cincinnati.
Oh, wow, okay.
And he was getting past, kids would come out of college and come into him, he would train them, and then because they had a college degree, they would get promoted, and he would end up being stuck there. So he was getting frustrated and tired of doing that. So after 25 years there, he went, and we were building a house at that time, and he started talking to the plumber that was on our job, and they decided to go into business for themselves at that point. So he was not a plumber, did not have a license at that time. He went and put himself through plumbing school, got his license, and started the plumbing business together, the two of them. And from there, we were just a small service company and doing some new construction here and there. So as I was 13, 14, 15 years old, I was going out after school on the weekends, spring break, Christmas break, whatever, working with him.
Oh, wow.
And so, yeah, so that's how I got in. So at the beginning, I was, out in the field, and I worked out in the field probably through 17, 18. When I got to be in high school, they felt that I needed to be in the office, and I started doing the buying back then. And then I learned how to bid and do all the different things in the office setting. And from there, and he taught me how to bid a project, and I bid my first project and got it or whatever. And then after that, you just worked your way through it all, and to the point that he started taking more and more days off. And next thing you know, he's not in the office, and I'm running it, and then buying it from him in 2001.
Okay, awesome. So I mean, literally, you've been involved in the business basically since you were in middle school.
Yeah, it goes. Yes, very much so. Yeah.
Wow.
I can remember. Him coming in and waking you. You think you're getting to sleep in on a Saturday. Next thing you know, your door's being knocked on, saying, "Let's go. You got work to do."
No such luck.
No such luck. So in that same time frame, I ended up going to plumbing school, and, getting my license. So now I have my license, so that it can continue on as a Heger business. But just a new guy has the license for the company.
Okay. And so
back at the beginning, we were service and residential. Then we became a bigger residential, custom, high-end residential guy. Then some commercial customers came to us based on our reputation, asked us to bid commercial work. So we started going, things started changing. We started doing more commercial, and then we never really got back to doing as much residential. But one of my largest customers is a residential builder now. But so we've gone back to the point where we're doing all the things we mentioned earlier, but still holding on to that same level of high quality service and taking care of the customer as best we can.
Nice. And so just out of curiosity, what is NixCo? What is the name? Where did that originate from?
Well, my dad's original partner was Richard Nixon.
Okay.
But not that one. And so my dad didn't really want his name associated with it, so he took, of course, Rick's last three words, Nixon, or Nix, N-I-X, and Co., put them together. And my dad and his partner split up actually after just 1 year. That his partner wanted to go one direction, and my dad wanted to go the other. My dad wanted to hold on to the name. So we kept the name. Richard went on into business for himself, and it just, the rest is history.
That's interesting. So it was initially the old partner's last name. It was the Nix from NixCo. Interesting.
Yes.
Always interesting how these names come about. It's interesting.
Yeah, it's good because a lot of people now, don't even realize they could be talking about that company to you, and they don't even know you're affiliated all the time.
Right.
Because the last name's not, there's no last name affiliation.
Right, since it's not Heger Plumbing, like nobody thinks that, it all it's all on you type of thing, right?
Correct.
Nice.
Correct.
All right, so let's kind of dive in a little bit, and thanks for giving us a background and kind of a little bit of the history. It's pretty interesting how you got into the business, and the one thing I'll say about you in working with you over the years is you really seem more like a businessman at the helm of a plumbing company as opposed to what traditionally you see like the technician that kind of morphed his way into being the businessman. I mean, you really know your metrics, you know your goals, you've got clarity on what your call volume is and what you need it to be. I'm just curious, was there some kind of business training specifically that you went to, or that's just kind of how your mind operates and how you've always done things?
I'm going to say that I went to college. I went to here at Miami in Ohio, and so you had that part of it. Mm-hmm. And then my dad was also very numbers oriented. Both my parents, my mom and my dad, both were, and so they always knew where the numbers were, what they were supposed to be. And then as you're trying to be successful, you have to know what your costs are.
Yeah.
To be successful, and so I think that's where it all came from. Was just, that background, and it does make a difference to be able to understand where those numbers are coming from. I took a lot of accounting back in the day, mm-hmm. so that helped you understand that portion of it. And then after the years of running it, you get the respect of the guys, even though they don't see you out in the field every day, but they see that you're in the office and you're working for them and understand what you're talking about to some degree. Where those guys, I couldn't do what they do anymore.
Right.
And I tell them that all the time, that, you guys do what you do and you do it well. I do what I do, hopefully well, or half as good as what you're doing out there. And so I think that makes a big difference. It's just been there, done that, and them seeing you every day as someone out there.
Yeah.
So growing, so all those number aspects came from all of that. Just kind of molds you into a person.
No doubt. All right, so diving into the marketing, and I always kind of foray into this section of the interview with really marketing breaks down into three core elements. It's your market, your message, and your media. So of course the market is who you'll sell your services to, and the more clarity you have on who that customer is, their demographics, psychographics, the better, because then you can craft messaging that can resonate with that customer and find the media. And we're going to talk a lot about media. That's what everyone likes to talk about. That's the exciting part. The media, that's the radio and the billboards and the internet and all the other fun stuff. So let's start with market. Just talk to us a little bit about how you guys at NixCo have defined your ideal customer and that target market that you serve.
It's funny because I've heard this asked before in these webcasts, and one of the best lines or best answers I've heard is that any paying customer is the customer that you want to serve. And that's still very true. But at the same time, when you got to try to boil it down to what you're looking for, it's that homeowner in that 200 to 250,000 plus home that owns a home, that's looking for a plumber that they can trust, that they want to be able to call back on a regular basis, one that they are comfortable with. That's what we're looking for. We're not looking for that. We deal with tenants and landlords, but you really want that person that's going to keep looking for a plumber or a service contractor that they can trust. Mm-hmm. And that's our goal, is to find that one. And we market towards homeowners, and we actually simply ran advertising where we're marketing to our commercial accounts as well.
Okay.
So when some of our ads that are out there do mention residential or commercial, residential or business, to get people to call from that aspect.
Absolutely. So then you in your market, 250 is the higher end. So your customer really is the higher end customer, higher household income, looking for convenience, looking for professionalism.
Correct, and that's what we're here to provide.
Definitely not the price shopper. So
no, we're definitely not looking for the price shopper. We will fail at that if you're looking for a low price.
Absolutely. And so, as you position yourself, and you've got some great positioning, information about your company, but How would you define your USP, or why somebody chooses NixCo versus the competition?
What we've been doing is most recently we re-looked at this, and so now we're really pushing the very experienced and talented service techs and plumbers that we believe, and also that we believe it's our mission to provide our customers with superior service with the highest level of quality, and at the same time give those customers options to effectively solve their current problem. So we're really pushing that aspect of it, that we're here for you. We're here to take care of you. We want to be back. We have some of the best people in the market working for us, and we only want to use the best product that we can get. So that's been really what we've been pushing out there, and it seems to be working. It seems to be working well.
Absolutely, yeah, and it really speaks to that ideal customer that you just talked about, right? The convenience, the professionalism, the fact that you're going to be there for them and do it right the first time. That's what that customer wants. So the messaging is right on point. So going from there, then we can start to say, okay, we're clear on who the customer is. We're clear on why they should choose us versus the competition. How are we going to put that out into the marketplace? The next piece is, how do we get the message out there? And so let's talk a little bit about your marketing mix and the different things you do in order to get that message in front of your ideal customer.
So we can look at this list like you got here. Valpak is something that we've never really ever tried. I think we did it one time and it was a fail for us.
Okay.
No response. But direct mail, we do.
I would say on the Valpak issue, that kind of, for whatever reason, does tend to attract a lower end customer. So it wouldn't be surprising to me that Valpak wasn't a win for you with your business model, the way that it's structured. That's
interesting, because I wasn't aware that. Of course, when a Valpak sales person comes in, they're not going to tell you that.
Right.
Especially, they're here to sell it. But we did it, I'm going to say, it was probably every bit of 10 years ago, but they still tell us, oh, it's changed and it's going to be better. But
right.
Typically, even when I get Valpak, I'm looking for one restaurant's coupon and it's in there. If it's not in there, it's in the garbage.
Right.
So, for me, it typically doesn't do anything for me.
Mm-hmm.
Direct mail. Direct mail is something that we do with one of the other QSC industry partners, and and we keep getting response from it, and so we've never really gone away from it. It's something that I can try to decide if I want to stay with it, but it does work.
And is that every door direct mail? Is it like all the households in your area that have a certain demographic? Kind of who are you targeting with that direct mail?
Right now, all we're doing is going back to our existing customers with that one. We tried that every door. We've looked at it a couple different ways, and we've not really thought about changing that at this point.
Okay.
We actually may step back from it just because I think some of my other mediums are working that much better that I don't know if I want to continue anything in print, really.
Okay.
Well, not any. Some of the direct mail, I don't know if I will continue that here much longer. I'm watching the numbers on it all the time.
Okay. So direct mail then is you mailing your existing customer base, remaining top of mind, trying to drive that repeat referral relationship.
Correct.
Okay.
And you need to. Don't let them forget. Don't want them to think we forgot about them.
No doubt. So based on what you just said there, you don't feel like that's been a quantifiably generating return and worth the investment that you're making into it?
Not really. I just like as we talk later or whatever, some of the numbers I expect a much higher return than what some people would expect. I mean, if you're doing direct mail and you're spending $600-700 a month, then I would expect to get $6,500 to $7,500 a month out of that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you should be getting 2 and 3 times. Like some of them talk about 2 and 3 times. That's nothing. I mean, you're barely paying for a guy to go do anything off of that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you're losing money. Yeah, you need to be having 9 and 10 times return, I would think, on direct mail to make it worth your while.
Okay. So there's your stance on direct mail. How about Yellow Pages in your market?
That's funny. Yellow Pages, the very first year, let's say back in 2007, 6 or 7, we made this big push to go into service. We double trucked it, 2 pages back to back, 1 year, $80,000, canceled the ad, never have been in Yellow Pages since. Not a listing, nothing since 2000. 1 year done, and that was a waste. But for some people it works. I hear it all the time that it works for some people, but for us, that was it.
So you've been able to continue to grow the company, you know, and you have had no Yellow Page presence for over, I guess it's over 10 years.
10 years.
Wow. Okay. Interesting.
TV and billboards, same thing. TV, we did TV one time back when we first started this push and never really went back. I don't think there was any response. Billboards, we've never done it.
Okay.
I look at billboards all the time thinking about it, but I've just never gone that route. Radio is the one medium now that I resisted for a really long time until the last, I'm going to say 18 months. I think we're going on our second, we're going into about just through 18 months now, and if you've got the right market, the right station, and the right number of, what do you want to say, occurrences or plays online, it works.
Okay.
I'm going to have to say, we get, once we started we were at the Bengals our first time here at Cincinnati, and that presence didn't go great. But then as soon as we started with the Reds, which the season ended, it seems ever since April of this year we have not stopped. And I'm not sure if is it because of radio or is it because of the market? Because you can't track it.
Right.
But it's been very great. It's been very good for us, I'm gonna have to say.
So you're just advertising during the sporting events? Is that what you're saying?
Well, what I was doing is they had a Bengals package which ran just through the Bengals season, 16 weeks, 17 weeks. Because, you know, if you're a Bengals fan, that's all you're going to get is 17 weeks, no playoffs.
Yep.
So we got that, and they had different things that went on throughout the day and on the weekends, and where they were talking to Bengals players, and we had an ad running during that. And then there was a 3-month gap, and we did it with the Reds. So that was year one. So we just renewed for all of 2018, where we actually filled in the gap between January and the end of March, where we bought advertising through this period. So for the whole year, we'll be on this one channel. We'll be on 2 radio stations for the whole year.
Okay.
To cover all that.
And so those listeners are just hearing you again and again, and it's sports radio, right?
It's sports radio is part of it, but it's talk radio.
Okay.
The channel is basically talk radio, but they host both the Reds and the Bengals here in Cincinnati. So
I got you. We
have a strong following on the radio for that.
And what type of radio ad is it? Is it your jingle? Is it like a live interview with you? Or what type of ad is it?
It's just a blurb, basically talking about how we talked about earlier about the quality and the tech, and then one of the lines they say, don't call the average Joe, call NixCo, so that runs in there. We have another one that's running on another channel that is actually where we're talking about we want to be your plumber for life, so we're actually marrying a client on that one.
Really?
Where you're having the little walking down the aisle thing with the priest and all that, or whatever, saying, do you take this customer, and so you take this plumber for life. So
that's clever.
So that's what we're doing. There's a couple different on the talk show. We're running actually two ads, and then the help wanted ad. And then the other channel, every month to 6 weeks, we'll change the ad up on that one, which is a radio station that is basically focused on women.
Okay. And so do you play? Is the jingle at some point in all of the ads so that jingle is anchored, or no?
The jingle jumps in and out of them.
Okay.
On the radio, the music station, they'll play it more often than not.
Okay.
And sometimes they'll pull it into the talk radio. It's just talking. It's more about the repetition on the talk radio, that you hear it all the time, and that it becomes top of mind.
Yep.
And they push our web page. They say a phone number, but they push the web page. Every ad tells you to go to NixCoPlumbing.com.
Okay.
That's where people are calling.
Excellent.
If you're driving, you're not looking at a phone number. You're not typing it in, or you might, or wherever you'll remember NixCoPlumbing.com. You're not going to remember that phone number.
Exactly. So they type in NixCo, they hit the call button from their mobile phone, or they call it from the website. So that's great. A lot of guys aren't really leveraging radio, so I love it when I talk to somebody like yourself that is using radio. You feel like it's had an impact, and that's interesting. The key then, it sounds like, is clarity of the customer audience and then really committing to the frequency. I think that was the word we were looking for, frequency of them hearing the ad. So they don't hear it once, they hear it again and again and again and again, and when they need a plumber, you're just their guy.
Yeah, it's funny because now when I go into like our local association meetings, I'll have people say to me, if I can get to one more football game, I'll have your ad memorized, because they hear it on the way and on the way back. And so even the other contractors in town are listening and are hearing it. So you know it's out there and you know it's being heard.
Yep.
So yeah, frequency is huge. That constant play of that ad is huge for people to understand or get to know who's out there. And the other thing about it is that they also think that you're bigger than what you are because you're on the radio.
Right. They figure you must be this massive company that has everything together.
Yeah.
Not that you don't.
We'll take it.
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess moving from there, public relations, any specific public relation activities? I know you guys are involved in community events and charity type stuff. But just talk to us a little bit about public relation activities that you guys are doing.
The biggest thing that we do with that are all associated around that pink plumbing truck we have, where we take a portion of all the proceeds and donate it to either Pink Ribbon Girls here in town, Cancer Free Kids, or one of the other cancer associations that pop up here or there. And so every month or 2 months, I'll write a check to a couple of those organizations, and we just keep an ongoing total. So I think right now we're up to donating like over $20,000 based on the sales off that truck.
Wow. So
that's probably the biggest thing that we do. We do stuff with churches locally that we're affiliated with, where we sponsor events or our sponsors at their festivals or their basketball events. And those are probably the biggest things that we do.
I want to come back to the pink truck, because I think it's a great idea. It's something philanthropic that your company does. So just kind of high level, there's a out of all of your fleet of trucks, there's one that's pink, and it's like once a month all the proceeds from that truck get donated? Just talk to me about that a little bit for our listeners.
Yeah, there's one truck, and then what we do is every bit of sales, we take a portion or a percentage of every sale that guy makes. So if he sells $400,000 in a month or whatever, we'll take a portion of that and it'll get donated to those causes.
Okay.
And we came up with that. My grandma had it. My grandma had breast cancer. One of my aunts had it, and they fought it, they beat it, and all that. And so we started that direction where we were giving money to the Pink Ribbon Girls, because that was helping people associated with that. And then there's a local association here that's really strong in the Cancer Free Kids, which is money donated and raised to help cancer for kids. So we started moving those funds between the two of them. So you're accomplishing something where you're helping both local organizations that'll hopefully help the fight against cancer.
Yeah, that's awesome. And obviously, there's a connection to the cause. There's the fact that you're giving back. Do you find that there's any, and I know this isn't the primary reason, but is there any business benefit associated with doing that?
I don't know if there truly is or not. I mean, people from Cancer for Kids, they recognize you, they call you, and they stop and say, same with Pink Ribbon Girls. Some people, might ask the guys about the pink truck, why the pink truck. But I can't say that there's a measurable amount, and that's not why we did it. We did it for just to be out there. Even they'll come to you wanting you to lock in a plan, and I say, no, this is why we're doing it, and this is how I'm going to do it. I don't know if I'm going to donate, $100,000 today. I mean, not 100, but
right. We're going to donate what comes out of it, right?
Or, it's just whatever comes in, we're giving to you guys. You can do with it as you want. Since nothing is, I'm not directing where it goes. It's your money to use, and that's just how we've done it.
Awesome. And I think subconsciously, everyone wants to be a part of something bigger. There's more to life than just making money. And so for your team, for your customers that are aware of it, whether it's conscious or not, it just makes you a better place to work. It makes you the kind of place people want to be associated with. So even though you might not be able to say, well, we gave this much and it generated this many new clients or customers, I believe it does have an impact on the continued growth and success of the company.
I think so. I mean, it's fun. This past year, Cancer Free Kids took our money that we accumulated through the year and made us a table sponsor. So that enabled us to invite 10 people to their dinner, so that opened their eyes to, you know, another group of people as to their cause, and so it just helped, you know, keep their cause seen better, or I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. So moving to networking, you know, BNI, Chamber of Commerce. Do you do any of that type of stuff?
No, because, well, BNI we felt was just not something that worked for us. We were in that for 2 or 3 years, and it was a fail. The chamber, we're members of the chamber, but our chamber grew to be so big. It was a small market. Then it grew to be where it got absorbed by the city of Cincinnati. So it's not something that we really do much with. Our name's there, we advertise. And then realtors and supply houses. I mean, supply houses might refer us here and there. Realtors, we're a part of the association, so we'll get some work for homeowners associations, which is nice, because that's how they found most of our names. So we continue our, annual renewal. We'll renew our membership annually, but we really don't get much involved in what they're doing on the day in and day out basis. They're just happy to see us as a member of their organization, and so it enables us to get in with some new people here and there.
Okay.
We probably could get in with more. I don't have enough guys to get in with more right now.
That's true, yeah. Okay. So home shows probably same. You guys do a big booth at the home shows, or do you just kind of pass on that whole?
We pass on that one.
Mm-hmm.
We go down there every now and then and look at what's there, but it's not really something that really thrills us.
Okay. So it sounds like, I mean, really the bulk of it is at this point you're doing the radio stuff, passed on the Yellow Pages pretty much altogether. A little bit of direct mail to the existing customer base. Let's talk about internet marketing in as a whole.
That has been something that we do, and we've done. It's been very helpful, especially when we started to grow. It was really, we were just flat out booming with that, and of course we use that. What do they call plumbing and HVAC SEO or somebody like that? And we started with, when we joined together as a team. At the beginning, we grew like crazy. There was a lull, and then now, once again, it's been just an incredible run for us, where we're able to track, and we've gone through a few different people at your place. But now, one of the things I've learned from going to meetings was that, you know, I need to manage that much better than what I was doing in the past. And so that's where I came up and started doing a weekly meeting with my account rep, with you guys. And it's opened my eyes as to what it's all about, how it works, what goes on the day in and day out. So I see the reports every week. I see them every day. I see my call reports every day, so I know where my calls are coming from. So what we have found is that, you know, the SEO is huge, because I want the people to be able to find me.
Yep.
And with the website that we have now, and the way it's set up, and the changes that we make here and there, and your staff has made with the website, our website I think is very good. I would say it's probably the best we've had.
Yeah. And
now we've got, our call volume is based off of that. It seems like most of our calls day in and day out now are Google Places and our website. Very little of our call volume is actually paid per click. So between, you know, you've got pay-per-click, the SEO, we got the website, you got Google, you got Bing, you got Facebook, and you got Twitter. All those things we're running. We have some sort of presence on. People are finding us, but of course, if you don't have that strong SEO portion of it where they can recognize, look up something and find you right away, I don't think anything else really matters at that point.
No doubt. Yeah, no doubt. And so it's kind of to his point. It's easy to say, I want to do internet marketing and hire a company, whether it's ours or one of the other vendors that are in this industry. But it is kind of incumbent on you as the owner, marketer of the business to manage and kind of be involved, right? Your internet marketing provider is going to do what they think is best, but they need to hear from you. They need to get feedback from you. They need to kind of close the loop between, we generated this many calls, how many of them actually converted into sales, so that we can shift and we can pivot and we can really make sure that the campaign is as effective as possible. So I thought it was good that you said that. you don't necessarily have to do weekly calls, but definitely engage in a monthly meeting with your account manager, whoever's handling your internet or your marketing strategy, and kind of sit down with them and get clarity on here's what had happened, here's what we accomplished, and here's what we're going to do next. Right?
Oh, most definitely, yes, because right now we're in a situation where we're having to shut down pay-per-click because our call volume is so high on the other. So we're talking about today when we had our meeting, I actually met with her before I met with you, or before we had this interview, and we realized that they had bumped up our pay-per-click, and right at that point we actually paused everything except for brand so that we could slow down the incoming call volume from the pay-per-click side of things. Our SEO is generating enough, and our other mediums are generating enough phone calls that, hey, let's stop spending money where we don't need to be spending money, and make it in another direction, or have the calls come in until we need it.
Right.
If we're booking a week out, I don't want to keep taking calls and have customers get upset with us because we can't provide the level of service that we want.
No doubt about that. Yeah, I mean, and the nice thing about pay-per-click is you can scale it back when you're over capacity, and you can ratchet it up when you have a lot of excess capacity. So you're kind of in that spot where your technicians are fully booked, and you've got leads coming in from organic sources that you can easily say, look, let's slow down the PPC and get our lower cost leads that are already coming in, and really maximize that avenue.
Yes, most definitely. The one other thing we're doing is Google Home Services, but since like the first week that we had it up, we've had it turned off. Just because we haven't needed those calls from that source yet.
Yeah, I think for you it's another one of those, it's almost like pay-per-click. So we have too many leads to handle, so why pay per lead on the home service stuff?
Correct.
So this is an interesting topic because it's so new. A lot of markets, Google Home Services has rolled out. We have clients that are on it and love it. We have other clients that, like you, maybe have just been too busy to really deal with it. But from the leads that you did get, what did you find? I think your perception was they weren't the top echelon quality customers you had preferred, but correct me if I'm wrong.
You are correct.
Okay.
We only had it on for, I'm going to say, let's say a week. We got 6 calls, maybe 5 calls, and I don't think we ran a single one after that. They were basically price shoppers, is what I'm gathering at this point. So, no, none of them are really great calls by any stretch.
Okay.
And so it's going back to like one of the other buying services that are down below. That's how I almost envision it right now.
Home Services kind of down there with Angie's List and Home Advisor, kind of in that same bucket of third-party lead sources.
As of right now, yeah. Until we actually get a good run on it, they have a lot of stuff they need to do to fix it. Because it seems to be a I don't know if cheap's the word to use, but a bad, not a great system, and you can't do a whole lot. And they want to run it through your phone, and as far as how you can make changes, it's trying to be Apple-based or something like that, or Mac-based. So it's not. I don't think it's very, very business-oriented yet.
Okay.
Give it time maybe, but they got some changes to do, I think.
Yeah, and I would say, for you listening, if Google Home Service ads have rolled out in your area, you should be pre-qualified. You definitely want to get yourself on the list because Google has placed the home service ads above the pay-per-click in a lot of cases, definitely above the map. And so we don't know how aggressively they're going to roll it out. They could do anything, so you don't want to miss the boat and kind of be completely out of it. But you can do like Jeff does, get signed up, put a very limited budget at the beginning, test it out, and if it works for you, great. You can almost expand that infinitely. If it doesn't work out, you can put your money elsewhere. So I think that was a great conversation around Google Home Service ads. Are there any other of these lead buying service like Home Advisor, eLocal Plumber that you're engaged with?
We used to be a Home Advisor. Only way I'd be a Home Advisor client, I'm sorry, is if they paid me to do it. eLocal is not something I think that's very good here or great here.
Okay.
Angie's List and Home Advisor are about the same thing. They would have to pay me to be on their system. Now, for others, it works great. I talk to contractors in this area that think it's the best thing ever.
It's funny.
It just does not work for us. Yelp is one that, everybody couldn't stand them. I couldn't stand them. But for some reason, we're on their good side. We don't advertise with them at all. But we had this run where we were getting referrals and phone calls all day long. And I don't know why, but we were. And our rating has gone way up on there, or it's gone up. We fought the ratings thing for a long time.
Yeah.
But now we but Yelp is one that we deal with. Better Business Bureau. We have people who will review us there, but we do use it. But it's not. People are typically, I don't think, are going to the Better Business Bureau to look you up anymore.
Not as much as they
Google.
did.
Yeah. That's what Google's for.
Yeah, for sure. So then, out of all these out of all of these initiatives, where's the lion's share? What's like the biggest driver of consistent leads for you?
It's going to be, it's not measurable, but I'm going to say radio and internet.
Okay. So
the only measurable one is truly internet marketing.
Mm-hmm.
You can't measure radio because you can unless your number is just 11111 or whatever. That's the only way you can measure it. So you can put a number out there and hope they call it, but unless it's a special number, they'll never remember it.
Yeah. I mean, it really does have a synergistic effect, kind of radio, also TV at some level, billboards, because if you've got a noticeable brand in your market, a lot of people, they're going to go search to find you, and that's going to generate more tracked calls via your internet marketing activity. If you're doing SEO, pay-per-click, home service ads, and let's say they've heard the radio ads, but they didn't necessarily go search you verbatim, they search and they see you on the paid listings, they see you on home service ads, and then they see your organic listing, they're going to gravitate to a brand that they recognize. So it does kind of have a synergistic effect where if your internet marketing's on point and you're doing other branding, kind of it raises the effectiveness of everything that you do in terms of marketing.
Correct.
So let's move to trainings and organizations. I mean, it's like, you've got this great company, you've grown it over the years, you're doing almost $6 million per year. Have there been any groups or organizations that have helped you get to where you're at today and to continue to grow and innovate?
Well, we belong to the CMPA, PHCC, and QSC, which is Quality Service Contractors. And when we joined QSC, that's what really pushed us to the point of growing and learning what training was. And that's where we started with sales training. And now we have a sales trainer that we have locally that trains not only our sales staff, but also works with the management team on a consistent monthly basis. That's helped push us up to where we are. They've grown our service techs from a truck that was doing 250,000 an hour, they're doing between 400,000 and 500,000 a truck.
Wow, that makes a massive difference.
Oh, it makes a huge difference. But it's made our life so much better that that these guys are learning, understanding, and then we're telling them that the more they can do, the better their life's going to be. So we're not only trying to show them that it's helping the company, we're trying to help them grow as individuals.
Yeah.
So QSC and what they brought to the table and what they opened our eyes to has been a huge part of what we have. And then in turn, we try to give that back to some of the local PHCC members to try to explain to them that, this is what you need to do, trying to train others. Okay.
So for the listeners that aren't familiar with QSC or maybe haven't kind of just tell us what QSC is and how they would learn more about it.
QSC is an affiliated group of PHCC that focuses on service contractors, no matter what type it is, plumbing, heating, cooling, electrical. I don't think we've added any others, but you're based on, it's a group of people that are here to make themselves better, to make the company better, to be the best of the best, to grow your business, to take it to the next level. So where you're not only servicing the client, but you're also servicing yourself and improving your life at the same time. And that's one of the big things that we try to push to everybody is that, you're in business you're in business not just to work, but to make your life better. And so I think you'll see that in this group where everybody is sharing things and teaching each other and helping each other become better, that it's a great place to be if you want to be to get to a better point in your life.
Yeah, that's a great synopsis of it. And a lot of our clients, our QSC members, a lot of people, if you go back to the historic recordings of the podcast, are QSC members. And ultimately, it's a group that offers training, coaching, and like a mastermind where you can meet with other guys like Jeff, like Dan Dowdy, like Greg Joyce, like the others that have been interviewed, and hang out with them and rub shoulders and like learn from them on a more personal level. So yeah, I mean, look up QSC or PHCC QSC if you're interested, because it really is a powerful organization that can help move you from where you're at today to the next level in your plumbing or HVAC business. So Jeff, what other nuggets of wisdom would you maybe want to share in closing on today's episode for that plumbing or HVAC business owner that's trying to get to the next level? Do you have any thoughts or additional nuggets that you want to drop?
Well, a couple things with that. So when I saw this question, I wrote a couple things down. But
Good.
Know your numbers. That's one of the biggest things. Is know your numbers, price correctly, do it at a profit, and then when you come up with your numbers, stick to it. You don't do it at a loss. And that's one of the big things that I always try to preach is just know your numbers.
Absolutely.
Raise prices, do less work, make more money. I mean, it's pretty simple.
Yeah. What's a good profit margin target in this business, or is that something you could kind of like a benchmark that you should be targeting in terms of pricing?
As far as net profit, is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Well, what's a good target?
Yeah, but typically, I'm hearing anybody doing it from 15 to 25%.
Okay.
So that's net. That's after everything's said and done. So customers get paid. I mean, you're getting paid as a owner, and then there's still this money left over.
And I would say on that point, if you're not netting a profit, there's really no point to be doing the business in the first place. I mean, that's such a powerful insight that I would say 95% of plumbing HVAC contractors tend to miss. Like, they wind up hustling and running and getting new trucks and sending new guys and advertising in new ways, but they're not priced correctly, and so they're just running themselves ragged with nothing to show for it. So it's a very salient point that Jeff just made, and definitely take heed, know your numbers, and price accordingly.
And if you're not doing it at a profit, right now there's plenty of other companies out there that are looking for plumbing technicians that you can go to work for them and just get rid of all your headaches and probably make as much, if not more, working for somebody else.
And make more, right? Yeah.
Yesterday, QSC had a podcast with Rebecca. It was with Larry Wingett. Mm-hmm. And, you were talking about nuggets. And one of the things that he says, it was something like this, that, everyone knows the nuggets that are out there. It's just no one is implementing those nuggets. So I would say take a nugget, no matter how small it is, and implement it. And if it works, great. If not, try another one. So, I mean, I can't really offer anybody anything that they don't already know. That they know it, they're just not doing it. So, I mean, it made great sense, because for a long time I was getting these nuggets but never using them. Now I'm trying to make that point to try to use that one every time, and it does work. Simple one was making sure I called or have a conversation with Cindy every week from SEO. So now that's a simple little nugget that for 24 months I didn't do, and now I do it, and it's made a world of difference.
Yeah. No doubt. So, anything else you want to share before we wrap up this awesome episode of the podcast?
I'm gonna say I can't think of anything right off the top of my head. If anybody has any questions, feel free to reach out to me at the Power Meeting. I'm always going to be at the QSC Power Meeting, or they can find me somehow on Facebook. I'm sure you'll be able to question me somehow on that.
Absolutely, and I'll put a link out to your website in case anybody wants to take a look and kind of do more research and track you down. Jeff, this has been awesome. I really appreciate your generosity of spirit and kind of sharing your success story, how you've been able to grow, how you're keeping the phones ringing. I think there was a lot of great insights, so thank you so much for sharing. Thank you for listening, listeners, to this episode. if you're getting value from these podcast interviews, please just take a minute, find us on YouTube or on iTunes, or go to our website, post a comment or a review. It really helps us out a lot. If you'd like to be alerted as new episodes are posted, we're targeting to do at least one episode per month, so you don't want to miss out. Be sure to subscribe. You can do that at plumbingmarketing.net. That's the website for these interviews. That's plumbingmarketing.net. Again, hope you got great value from today's session. Go out, take the nugget, implement it, grow your business, and we'll talk to you next time. Jeff, thanks again for joining us on this episode.
Thank you.